Hi, everyone. Hi, we're here yet again. This is for another set of matches. They just seem to be keeping on coming. India's just playing everybody. India now is playing South Africa. In India, the first match tonight is in Thiruvananthapuram, and then there's a further two. But before I get to the game, let me introduce my panel of guests. I have to my right
Rapakshi
Sharma, and to my kind of left, kind of right, depending on which way you look, is
Mohsin Sheikh.
I wanted you to introduce yourself. So welcome, everybody. So we're here tonight. It's going to be an action-packed night. We've just had a series of discussions about the Australian team, in particular around the lack of understanding as to what's happening with Cameron Green. He's playing every single match, but he's not yet selected in the squad. Although I believe, and you might want to confirm it, Mohsin, they can still change the squad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Until the 15th of October. So any team that is in round 2 automatically qualified, that is Australia in that round 2 qualified team. So they can make a change up until 15th of October.
Which is literally a day before the series starts.
Day before the practice game starts. So yeah, it is pretty much up until the qualifiers are happening in Melbourne. So qualifying teams, the round 1 teams can make a change up until 9th of October, just before, a day before this qualifier starts. But the round 2 teams can make a change up until 15th of October.
But can you explain to me, why would you announce the squad now?
I think the ICC wanted the first cut, because obviously you got to understand the guys who are actually coming from overseas, their visas and everything to get sorted. And I can vouch for it, because the guys from Afghanistan were assembled a week ago in UAE, and they were waiting the whole week in UAE to get their visas, and their visas just got done today, this morning. All their visas got done. So that's why they wanted a preliminary squad plus the reserves. So you can only pick your replacement from your reserves. So obviously Cameron Green is in reserve, so he can come into the squad if Australia choose to make a substitution. So every team has announced 15-member squad plus 4 substitutes.
So effectively the 4, let's call them substitutes for Australia, includes Cam Green. I think Kane Richardson's in that as well.
There as well.
Well, Tim David's in the squad, so he's not out.
No.
I'm not sure who the other 2 are that are also reserved.
Sean Abbott is in there as well, and I'm pretty sure there's another batter in there. I think it's McDermott in there as a reserve.
Ben McDermott,
I think.
Okay. All right. So, but it still doesn't make any sense, though, because Australia's picked the squad, put the squad together, put so-called Cameron Green as a reserve, yet he's playing every single match.
Exactly, and that's probably what my understanding is. They trusted him, but they wanted to make sure they go to their trusted all-rounders in Mitch Marsh and Stoinis. I think Stoinis is still not bowling. He's fit though, but he's still not bowling. So that's what gives me an indication that Aussie selectors are keen to get Cam Green in, because he's bowling. He's hitting the ball really well, as we all saw. So it'd be good to invest in these series if he continues that. Whether he gets replacement by a bowler or by an all-rounder, I wouldn't be surprised if Stoinis is still not 100%. Then they'll get Cam Green in. So, but it'd be interesting to see. We've got another 2 weeks, pretty much, to see who comes good and who doesn't.
I'm just watching on television here, Rakil Cornwall playing.
Yeah, I know.
He's hitting 6 after 6.
He just smashed it. He scored 90 odd, I think. I was watching his innings, and initially he could not lay bat on ball, because the ball was seaming around. He hit one ball straight and got dropped. Not dropped, I would say. There was with his power, the ball carried the catch over the boundary, and then
he's 150 kilos.
Yeah, I think he's hitting the ball rocket, like rocket.
It's like Norman batting.
I mean, he's bigger than me, which is not hard. Anyway, is he in the squad for the West Indies? I don't think he is he? He should be.
I know. He can hit the ball, man. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't run twos, which you can understand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why he doesn't need their twos? He
He
doesn't,
doesn't
Yeah,
need to run
because power.
yeah.
He
Look
has
at him.
power.
He's absolutely smashing. He finally got caught in the boundary
Oh, I got
for
it.
91. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take it back. So we've got India playing at Thiruvananthapuram. Where else are they playing? Look at this. India.
Pakistan playing Lahore tonight as well, so that's again doubleheader. So Pakistan playing England.
So yeah, sorry, go back. India's playing Thiruvananthapuram. They're also playing.
On 3rd October, they're playing the second T20 in Guwahati.
Okay.
And yeah.
And the next one?
On October 2, are they playing in South Africa?
Then they're playing against South Africa.
Oh, okay.
When are they playing? When's the last game?
It's on 4th October. They're gonna play in Indore.
Indoor.
Yeah.
They're picking some unusual places. So, okay.
And they've
What were
got
you going to say? Right, Mason, so what were you going to say?
So they've got 3 one-days after the 3 2020s. Shekhar Dhawan's going to captain that one-day team. So few of the players are going to fly out to Australia in Brisbane on 5th, the 2020 squad.
Right. But effectively, it's right now we're in World Cup ICC T20 mode, aren't we? Really, this is
100%.
now no other format's being played. Any other team playing any other format's mad. Now, Rapakshi's been doing a fair bit of homework. She's well on top of this now. We're going to be with the tournament as it comes. You're going to be based in Brisbane, aren't you, with the Afghan team?
True.
Right. And I know Australia playing West Indies there next week, 2 matches, Gold Coast and Brisbane.
And
what's Afghanistan's schedule?
So what the team's assembling here on Friday afternoon. So they land in Sydney Friday morning, and then they catch a connecting flight, a domestic flight from Sydney to Brisbane, and get here at 12:30 Brisbane time Friday. And then after that, we have Saturday as a rest, Sunday as a light fielding, and then it starts on Monday. So we have 3 practice games against Brisbane Heat, leading into the World Cup time, which is
against West Indies.
Yes.
Correct. Right. So, but Afghanistan will play the West Indies before Australia play the West Indies.
No, they're playing Brisbane Heat, 3 T20s as a practice matches. And then in the World Cup practices, they play Pakistan and they play Bangladesh.
Right. Because as we also speak now, in New Zealand, we're going to have New Zealand, Pakistan, and Bangladesh playing.
Yeah, pegs you on their schedule. So that's pretty hectic schedule. Everyone plays everyone twice, and then they play final. So it'd be about 4 or 5 games they play in New Zealand. So Pakistan have got their 5th game tonight against England. So they'll end up playing 7 against England and then 5 in that try. So they'll have 12 T20s before the World Cup warm-ups. So Pakistan is getting here on 15th of October.
Wow, that's pretty late, isn't
it? Because of the Tri Series, yeah.
Right. Okay. So in effect, you have a situation where Ireland, would you believe, are playing the SCG11 on Wednesday at Coogee Oval, not far from me. I might even go down. So Ireland are playing. My SCG11 team are playing against Ireland on Wednesday.
In SCG, City Cricket Ground?
Yeah. Coogee Oval.
Coogee Oval. So it's a nice ground to watch. Really good.
And then I'm playing, I think, on the Thursday of next week myself against some charity match which we're organising. So, but I'm not playing against Ireland, damn it. Anyway, okay. All right. So it's full on. And India, of course, are going to Western Australia eventually.
Yes.
So yeah, it's going to be quite a rarefied atmosphere.
Absolutely, and especially in Brisbane, it will be all happening because all the teams will be here from 15th of October because practice games are in Brisbane. So India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Holland, Ireland, Australia, and they're all here. So there's 2-3 days of practice games. So everyone will be here, and then they'll just disperse. So we play on the 19th.
This is in Brisbane.
This is in Brisbane. So both Allan Borderfield and Gabba are getting used, and they're double headers. So one team plays in the morning, the other team plays in the evening.
What's the
So-
ticketing situation for these games? Is it just
I
open?
don't think it is not ticketed now.
You just walk in
It's walking, I think.
because there's no mention of ticketing. Yeah, is
No,
this
no.
exciting?
It's very exciting. I'm very excited. Like World Cup is a huge
Everyone's
thing
coming here. Even Moses is already here,
Yeah.
but you know he.
I know, and it'd be
What's
good.
he in Australia? Back in Australia?
Yeah, he's back in Australia. He's back in Brisbane.
I'm back here. So I'll join the team on Friday.
Yeah.
So I just got my room list and whatnot sent to me. So I'll have to pack up between tomorrow and Friday morning to join the team on Friday afternoon. So it'd be really good.
Are you contactable while you're in that mode?
Yeah. Same.
Always for you, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Anything for you, Norman.
Yeah.
No, it's not just a So look, I've also discussed with Buria about next year's IPL, by the way, and there's some interesting things. He watches what he's say to Buria. He's watching now, and a guy called Ashok as well. He's involved. You're going to meet all these people. They're all coming.
Nice.
No, they're a great bunch of people. We're going to have Raghav. He's currently in Melbourne doing a familiarisation. He might be here tomorrow. I'm not sure. Might come quickly. I might be taking down the barrel, have a little look down there. So, he's Mr. ICC with the ticketing and everything. So it's all happening, and they're all coming charging at me at the moment. So I'm going to work out what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in Brisbane though for a little while. I'm not sure what day is going to be there, but definitely next week for the Australia West Indies match. And you've got to tell me the schedule. I'm not on top of your schedule, but I want to catch up with you somewhere there. We'll do some live stuff from there, and depending on how Rapakshi is, she might come. We've got a lot of things happening in that regard. When are you going to Perth? Do you know when you're Perth?
19th
of October.
19th of October. Yeah.
You got a game, one of your early games there, haven't you?
Early games there. Yeah. I think we play England there.
Wow. Oh my God. Have you got your ticketing sorted out, or are you just going to just turn up?
No, ICC will look after all of that. Yeah. So they've
Crazy.
got all the travel sorted. Yeah.
What a logistical nightmare that this is.
Yeah, I know, and that's why they've got a whole team here actually in Brisbane, because I contacted them when we were trying to organise the logistics for Afghanistan, and they've got a whole team that's looking after this logistics side of things and operation side of things. So it's really, really impressive.
So and we've got Sam Heslett, we've got Praveen Ivan, we've got a lot of people talking about our Earth is best. They're all talking about Cameron Green. Okay. A lot of discussion I had earlier as well about Cameron Green. At this stage, we've got obviously Aaron Finch as the captain, and we've got Matthew Wade apparently is going to be vice captain. But are they possibly looking at Cameron Green as the future captain?
Absolutely.
I think there's some discussion.
I think I probably tagged you in one of the posts. I think Cricket Australia had him and Shane Watson doing comparisons, and I said to you, I think in our last conversation, that he is going to be turn into a white ball opener, and which he's proved that he can do it. I know he hasn't done it previously, probably a few club games and whatnot. Not even the age band coming up through. He was top order, middle order batter. But look, he's actually found that that mantra about him. He can hit the ball hard. He's got something about him that he can bat anyway. But I think he will be a very good opening slot for white ball cricket. I think he'll emulate what Shane Watson probably did in later half of his career. I think he'll be very good for the T20s. I think the innings that he played in India, he's done himself a favor. He'll probably end up getting a really healthy contract IPL next year, I think.
God.
and then one days as well. I think in next year's World Cup, I'd like to see him opening the batting.
So it appears as though they're trying to groom him to be a replacement eventually for Finch to start with.
Absolutely.
Just go back to Mitch Marsh. Is he injured or not?
No, he's recovered. I think he's in that West Indies squad. Whether he plays or not, I don't know. But I think he's back. The three guys are back. Warner's back as well. So I'm pretty sure Warner will go back to opening. Stark is back as well. So yeah, they're getting all their injured players back. So who plays how many games, it would depend. Because this is the last opportunity for Australia. Oh, I think they've got 3 against England as well. They got 3 against England.
Yeah, so effectively Cam Green will be in the 15-man squad. And we need to work out who's not going to be in there. And it may be due to an injury to Stoinis. I think Stoinis is looking very shaky. Even though he's recovering, I think there's a good chance he's not playing.
I think so. I think he still hasn't recovered. He's not in the West Indies squad. He may be in the England squad if he recovers well. But look, it's a perfect opportunity for Cam Green to come into the squad and own that spot for himself.
Yeah. So now we've got some, I think it's 10 minutes before the toss of this particular match.
Yeah, 40 minutes left.
And what well, look, there is a side that's been shown for the South African side. What do they've said there's a likely side. They said a likely team. Can you see that? They normally give a preview of a squad that they're using for.
Or like India won by 82 runs on Saturday.
No, this one here. You've got the South Africans.
Okay.
Have a look at the side. So Quinton de Kock is now. He's not playing Test cricket.
Wicket keeper?
No.
I don't think he's playing. Sorry.
He's given up Test cricket. I think he wants to play white ball cricket only. He wants to play leagues. I think I think there's a lot of things are happening behind the scene. I think briefly we touched base before the South Africa England series. I think their cricket is in some sort of trouble because their quota system. Then there's all of this white guys color rubbish, which I'm not convinced. You got to pick the best possible team, and I think de Kock was getting in that conversation a bit too much, and then he's given up Test cricket. So which.
What's the likely squad then? Read the likely squad for us. Can you read the squad?
That one?
Yep.
So
Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
And Bavuma.
Yeah, he's the captain of the South Africa.
Now that's a position I'm still not certain about. Bavuma's in and out of this captaincy role. I don't think he himself knows what he's doing.
Didn't get the surprise for me is he's in charge of their T20 and one-day team, and he didn't even get picked in the South African League, the Premier League. So that tells me that he's captained by the quota system. He's not captained by the first choice, which is very disappointing. If he's good enough to play and captain your country team, he should have been first pick in the league. Because league is run by the private ownership, and they don't give us stuffing about the color or race or anything. They pick the best possible players, and no one picked him. So that's telling me that this selection, him being a captain of South African 2020 team, leading the team in the World Cup, and no franchise wants him, it just gives me an indication that their selection policies have to be reviewed.
It's just disgraceful.
Yeah.
So who else we got?
Raleigh
Rossell. Now he's another player that played a lot in England and doesn't seem to be seen anywhere else. And he's been brought back into the South African squad because he was effectively not playing.
Yeah, he took the call back. He went to England and then played leagues and whatnot. And then I think he made up with the selectors and he's come back into the white ball cricket.
I actually know him. I had a long chat with him at one stage about doing an interview with him. And I found him an intriguing character. I found him a bit like a Kevin Peterson. He doesn't seem to give it too much. He doesn't like conformity. He likes to do his own thing. And probably that's why he was out of the test. That's why he went and did what he did. But they seem to have, like with Alex Hales in England, they're bringing back these players they know are talented. They can't afford not to have them in. I think Riley Rossell is in that category, as is Alex Hales. I think they're pin-up boys, Kevin Peterson.
They're just different individuals. You got to let them go. You got to let them do their own thing, and they're good enough. They're talented enough to warrant a spot in the national team.
As is the same with Tim David. Pressure has put Cricket Australia had him on the outer. He was not seen as a sort of high performance player coming through. They've almost been forced to put him in a way, by public pressure, by results pressure.
And Eden Markram.
Yeah, Aiden Markram. Now, Aiden Markram's somebody who great at test level. His short form's still wanting. I have no confidence in the South African side, to be really honest.
Yeah.
But
How about David Miller?
now, David Miller's another one who has been IPL crazy, CPL crazy. All these plays brilliant in the franchise work, has forced his way back into the South African side. This is what's very interesting about the South African side. A lot of these players have played big in the tournaments, the franchise tournaments.
Yeah.
They weren't picked in their side normally, and they've forced their way in, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about Tristan Stubbs?
Now, that's a name that I'm not very familiar with.
That's a new name. Yeah, that's a new name because Van der Dusen is injured, I think.
Well, if Van der Dusen's not there,
no.
And this is the game we're talking about potentially tonight. Yeah. So maybe there's a few players. It's probably not necessarily their best team. But
I think there is like a probability of choosing one player between Endile and Devine.
Yeah. So Pretorius, Marco Jensen's come out of the woodwork too, let's be honest, playing very well at test level, but he's coming. Who else we got? Because I'm not joining us. Beram's joining us.
Hi, Bosin. Hi, Norman. Hi, Rupakshi. How are you?
Very good, man. Yourself?
I'm fine too.
We're just talking about the advent of players forcing their way back into contention for T20 teams like Riley Rousseau, the likes of even Tim David, the way he's come back in, Alex Hales, these fringe players that have been anti-establishment, you would argue, coming into the squad. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Dinesh Karthik.
Dinesh Karthik's another one. Very good example. The fact that Dinesh Karthik is actually being put over and above the likes of Punt, despite the good form that he's showing, is nonsensical to me. And they're looking towards the future. Dinesh Karthik's not the future.
You got to look at. I was just actually talking to because I'm looking after some of the youth and Tumble Club as well, and we were talking about the youth and promoting them. And you got to same principle. I would just probably say that you got to look at who's your future investment and then invest in that kid. So for me, DK he's probably has knocked the house down, knocked the door down with his numbers and whatnot. But is he your future? I think Punt is your future in Australian pitches, in Australian conditions. Punt is more likely to get you runs than DK, so that's why you got to stick with Punt. So, but obviously the selectors thinks otherwise, and look, he's poor guy playing. He's not even getting a full run at bat. He's just keeping, and he's not making an impact with the bat at all. So, for me, it's no brainer to get Punt in.
I have a slightly different view over there, Mohsin and Norman. Like the reason I feel that Dinesh Karthik is in the team is that they have identified a very specific role for him. Don't mind my son running around the back. So they have identified a very specific role for him. It's like in the last overs, the last 3-4 overs, where he comes and more so while they are chasing, to have that finisher kind of role. And I believe it means this is what I believe is where they have identified DK to correctly fit that role, where I believe Punt does not fit that dynamics which are there. So for that particular thing, DK is being bumped up or selected over Punt. That's really my feeling.
I definitely see your point. And validity behind it as well, because he's not your out and out power hitter. But what I'm saying is, when it is required to make an impact in the game, especially on the bouncy pitches, Australia will come across pace in their pool with South Africa and Pakistan with both pace attack. They need a player who can play cross-bat shots really well, like cuts and pulls, and Punt really suits that role in Australia, and he's proven it. Like in Test match, even he nearly won the Sydney Test match, and then he won the Brisbane Test match with that power hitting, that impact that he creates. And we all know 2020 shortest form of the game, recognized it has the impact. Like you see with Pandya, such an impact player, you can all of a sudden take the game away. Score 70 runs in 30 odd balls, and games done and dusted. And that's what my liking towards Punt is, that he's an impact player. All of a sudden, he can just turn the game away from the opposition in 2 or 3 overs, and that impact or even if he comes in 7 in last 3 or 4 overs. And you and I both know 10s are required. It's probably minimum standard in the last 5 overs. Teams are getting over 50 runs. I think punt for me.
Look, it's just to me that you can't afford to have both on the same side, and that's the issue. They've tried having both on the side. It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
Something just wrong with that whole approach. Anyway, that it concerns me. So I think that's where India. I get what Baram's saying, but I think that could be the Achilles heel in this World Cup. They've got to sort out what they're doing with those two, because it's to me it's destabilising their middle order at the moment. Hardik Pandya is in great form, but he needs to know who he's batting with, and it's going to have to be.
For me, as I said to you probably last time, Norman, the problem with India is not their batting. I think they're still covered. Even if DK plays or Pant plays, their batting is covered. They've covered most of the bases with their batting, from top order with Kohli in form, KL Rahul's fit coming back, Sharma still, Rohit Sharma. They've got their batting is probably rounded. The issue with them is their death bowling, and if the ball's not swinging up front, Bhuvi is hittable. And we've seen that in India, where ball was not swinging. Even in Asia Cup, when ball was swinging, he was deadly. Against us, ball started to swing, new pitch, all of a sudden he got 5 for. But other than that, his new bowling is a concern. His pace is down. Keeper is standing up to him. Like your first new ball bowler, keeper is standing up to him. So his pace is down. He's very hittable, especially in death as well. So his numbers in death are over 12 in economy rate. So that's where I think the India's problem is. Jadeja being unfit, Akshar Patel, he's again another one who doesn't have that craft what Jadeja could offer. So my thing with India is probably they're going to need to get their bowling sorted out. Their batting, I think I'm not worried whether DK plays or Pant play, because by that time you should have your enough runs on board. But it's their defending their total or defending the death overs.
Well, the onset of an Akshar Patel is, although he's not Jadeja, he's integral, because the fact is Jadeja's not going to be there and they're going to miss him. And if you look at Bumrah,
given his recent performance, would it be? Means I would slightly even say that at least in T20, Akshar is performing better than Jadeja. Like he's giving, like the way he bowled, like he was not only strangling the batsman but also taking wickets. Like he was just impossible to hit. If he continues that, I did not see that from Jadeja. Like at least in my recent memory, where the batsmen are just unable to hit him. Like okay, he's a bowler, will get through your bowlers. That's it. And on the batting point also, like Akshar is, I would say, okay, I would say not the same level, but very close to that of Jadeja. So in an overall perspective, I would say, given the advantage he's giving in the bowling,
well, okay,
he's a better pick than Jadeja right now, as of currently. How that will come on the Australian pitches, that is to be seen.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Just quickly, I'm going to interrupt. India will win the toss and look to bowl first.
Okay, interesting. I'll just continue on my point. I think that my probably concluding point. I think the Australian pitches will test him. I think he's done well in India. He's done well in IPL on slow pitches. It's the experience that Jadeja has on Australian pitches, how to bowl and how to bat. I think that's probably what's going to make a difference. But I'll still say my concern for Indian team is probably their death over. They're closing off. They haven't been closing off well the death overs, whether it is in a chase or whether it is in a setup.
And I look at the Indian bowling attack as we've described. But if you look at the South African lineup, Rabada, Nokia. I always say Norke, but it's actually Nokia, surprisingly. And Shamsi, they've got a pretty powerful little threesome there, and they're probably doing better on paper than at the moment than India are.
Yeah,
so
I think the South Africa
they have a what there, Norman?
Stronger than Indian, and Indian batsmen are more stronger than South Africa.
I think that's a very good point. India's batters outdo the South Africans, and it flips over with the South Africans being better in the bowling department. But that makes me then wonder about both those teams in the World Cup. And it annoys me because India continue to flip and change their team. It's beyond that now. They need to. No more experimenting a couple of weeks out. They need to get a regular team in. Don't you think? That's a mate. And Baram, we've talked about with you before, and Mosen, and obviously we've spoken to Rapakshi. You've got to settle your unit down now. It's too late to experiment. You've got to know now what you're doing.
I think India have got their core set up. I think I'm not going to deny that India haven't got their core sorted out. It's just that they're trying to give the bench strength a bit of game time, because this series is the last for them before the warm-up. So they don't have any more games like Australia have, Pakistan have, Bangladesh have, New Zealand have, England have. So they've got another 4 or 5 T20s to go before the warm-ups. India, this is their last series. They're playing at home and then they're flying out here, and their one-day team is going to play some one-day games as well against South Africa. They've got 3 one-days. So they don't have any more practice games. So they're just giving their bench strength a bit of a run, just so that everyone has got enough game time under the belt. Because we all know it's more valuable to spend time in the middle rather than doing in the nets. So I think India have got their core sorted out. With if they go with Adelaide, they will go with 2 spinners in Patel and Chahal. And if they go with pace, they've got the three quicks with the left arm quick, and then they've got Bumrah, and you've got Bhuvi as well. So I think they're pretty well set in their kind of approach, how they're going to attack, and plus they're not playing in bouncy pitches anyway. So I'll back them to go with 2 spinners. And then with top heavy batting lineup, I think and South Africa is in their pool as well. So their pool is light. So I keep saying that Pakistan, India, South Africa. Apart from that, their pool is light. West Indies is very light with what they've picked. They've got no Russell, no Narayan, no power hitting. So they're lacking that power hitting. West Indies is going to end up in their pool as well. So this pool is a light pool. I think Pakistan and India have got a very good chance to qualify from this pool.
Okay. It looks as though, I'm not looking at right now, you've got Arshdeep
and Pant playing with Hardik and Bhuvneshwar rested.
Yeah, so Arshdeep and Pant are in, Hardik and Bhuvi are being rested. What's after that?
Deepak Chahar come in place of Jasprit Bumrah, so Jasprit Bumrah is replaced by Deepak Chahar.
And Chahal is Ashwin's in. So, okay, it was injury based.
Yeah.
But again, they're playing around with the team a bit, aren't they? This is getting too close to the World Cup.
I only think it's like they want to make sure that they have the correct replacement on board in case somebody gets injured or who knows COVID or something happens. So like they have their second, like, okay, if something happens to this X person, who will be my Y, who will be my fallback. I think that's what's going on. That's the only thing which explains this Codswallop going on, Norman.
Agreed.
Testing the player.
Yeah, look, both Rapakshi and Baram, you're right, but it annoys me. I don't know about you, Mosen. I think it's become too much the norm now to chop and change. Injuries I accept, but chopping and changing, swapping over players, there's an extent to which you should stop that.
Getting in Umesh Yadav for that match was completely like bonkers to me, right? That part I really did not understand.
Exactly.
Where did he was nowhere in the picture, and suddenly he came in when there were 2 bench bowlers available. Like this is like as if saying you're trying to see like, okay, if X gets injured, you get in Y, and even Y gets injured. So okay, who will we have in Z? that's like two going multi levels. Like. It's beyond
So Australia suffers from the opposite. They're holding on like grim death to Steve Smith in the team, in my opinion. I just saw his dismissal a second ago when he got comprehensively was close to bowled. He was stumped in the end. He's way out of his depth now. I think he's proven the IPL form that he had, which was poor, and now they're holding on to some players like grim death. I think they need to let go. But India, because they've got so many great players, they want to use them all and experiment with them all, and they're going out of the way. That's where I actually now, the more I think about it, I've got my concerns about Australia and India winning this World Cup.
Australia or India?
I've got my
Oh
concerns.
yeah, me as well think the same. Like yeah.
I don't think that they're. I've got a feeling a more stable, in my opinion, Pakistan and England are going to be more of a threat.
Sri Lanka.
Well,
Sri Lanka
I keep
tried
knocking Sri Lanka. They keep shocking me. But if Sri Lanka win this, I'm a monkey's uncle. Seriously. But they shouldn't win this. They should have won the Asia Cup, for God's sake.
But look, Norman, I think you got to give them credit. Yeah, subcontinent pitches, slow and low pitches. Sri Lanka is a battle. It's really hard because they keep coming hard at you. Their top 7, they do not stop hitting. They go power hitting, and they keep coming. We had them 5 down. We had them 5 down for 60 odd when they were chasing 190. They keep coming hard at us, and they won the game like that. So that's the beauty about Sri Lankan cricket. The only thing, my concern for Sri Lanka in Australia is big boundaries and the bounce.
Yep. Well, they're only going to get to the MCG in a final more than likely. I think they're playing it down in Geelong early on in the weekend. But they're going to need to get.
One thing for all teams to learn this is like, even if you're 2, 3 down or even 4 down, there's nothing to worry. Like, even if like 30, 40 runs on the board and you're 4 down, it's like you still go on hitting. Like, at least that's what the mindset I saw for Sri Lanka, and it's working very, very well.
Absolutely. And England have got same mindset. They look at your England side. They're playing 11 or their squad. They've got power hitters down to number 8, number 9. Even Willie's coming at number 9. He's a power hitter as well. So they've got the same approach with Matthew Mott, that they're going to go with power hitters, and Hussey's joining them as a consultant batting coach. So they've got Michael. So
who's David Hussey? He's with someone as well, isn't he?
David Hussey is with KKR, and he's with Stars.
Okay, but isn't he also national squads? Okay.
By the way, Mohsin, can you share like what are these signals that Chris Silverwood shows to the team, like the numbers and the letters?
No, we were all doing it. Just the camera didn't show me because I was sitting in the corner. So it is the number. We do a matchup against. So if the batter is a Brahm, you coming in, and we do a matchup, and we go, okay, Norman is the best matchup to bowl to you. So we put Norman's number on the screen, and we go, okay, well, this is the best matchup against you on that. So then it's easy for the bowler to understand and see if they want to make a change according to the bowling matchup.
Which bowler will bowl to a batsman, or how do you bowl? How any bowler will bowl to a batsman?
Yeah, which bowler will bowl to that batsman? So we had.
All right, we've got the Indian team. Actually, read out the Indian team, please.
So the captain of the Indian team at the moment is Rohit Sharma, and second player is Rahul. After that, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Dinesh Karthik, and Akshar Patel, Harsh Patel, R. Ashwin, Deepak Chahar, and Arshdeep Singh.
So that's a good. Well done. That's the team. Ashwin, my God, I feel sorry for Ashwin. He's been on the outer so much. Didn't play in the Ashes or the England versus India series in England last year at all. He's now on the outer here. He's still the leading wicket taker for England, or very close to. I think he's only behind what's his name again? Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. Who's our famous spinner? Who's in front of him?
Kumble or Murli?
No. The Indian spinner.
Kumble, Anil Kumble.
Kumble, of course, Kumble. So other than Kumble, he's the best. He's not getting a Guernsey. Okay, and we've got the South African side, Quinton de Kock with the likes of Bavuma. I think is that implying that he's opening with him? I guess it is. Rousseau, who's come out of the woodwork, Markram, Tristan Stubbs, Miller, Parnell has got a Guernsey.
Mm-hmm.
I like Wayne Parnell. Rabada, did he play with one of the IPL franchises back in the beginning? I think he did, didn't he?
Mumbai.
Yeah. Rabada, Keshav Maharaj has got to go, which is interesting because I wouldn't have expected him to be selected. Nokia and Shamsi. It's not a bad bowling lineup, actually.
two spinners. Obviously, Shamsi has been at number one bowler recent past, so he's good. He gets that bounce and gets that spin. Rabada with pace and Nokia as well, with Parnell as a left-armer. So obviously they know a couple of Indians who have been dismissed. It's a good matchup against Kohli and Sharma against the left-arm pace. And Parnell, I like. He's tall fella. He hits the deck hard. Interesting. I still want to understand the role of Ashwin. He's not their first choice spinner anymore in white ball cricket. So it's been a long time since he's been a front on white ball cricketer. He's been second string as an off spinner coming into team. Chahal's been their spinner and Jadeja's been their spinner. So I like to understand how Ashwin's going to be used in Australia, because obviously he's not their first choice spinner, and you can't play three spinners in Australia.
Now, there's been an update for the BCCI about Bumrah. I think there's a real worry going on here, because they're saying that Bumrah complained of a back pain during India's practice session on Tuesday.
And BCCI medical team assessed him. He's ruled out of the first India versus South Africa.
So that's probably what Yadev, Baram. So you know how you were saying Yadev has been tested in the game. So if Bumrah doesn't pull through, then there's an opportunity for Yadev or Shamsi or Shami. Sorry, so Shami could come in.
Umesh Yadav is not in the whole team. He's not in the optional players also.
No, he's
that's not. His playing that match really did not make sense. Like, what was the?
But with the
maybe
injury,
they were looking at, like, if Shami could not have travelled at all, then he would have replaced by Umesh Yadav. I don't know.
So it'd be interesting to see how Bumrah pulls up after this this first 2020 that he's not playing. So
yeah,
I have to. Has he recovered back? What's the news there?
For Bumrah?
No, for Shaheen Shah Afridi. I'm talking about.
He started running. He started bowling towards the end of last week. So one of the Pakistani academy coaches joining him in England this week to assess his bowling loads and whatnot. So he's coming here directly to Brisbane on 15th. I've spoken to him. He's actually not going to New Zealand at all. So he's training in England for next 2 weeks under the guidance of one of the academy coach. And he will be joining Pakistan team on the 15th here in Brisbane.
Yeah, I think Bumrah is missing so many matches, and he just have played 2 matches so far.
Yeah, don't worry. He needs match fitness.
Yeah,
He does.
I think he's not serious about his fitness.
No, actually, there's been a lot of questions. It's a very good point, because ever since he's got married, there's been doubts about the way that Bumrah's been approaching his cricket.
Are you blaming his marriage for that? Or you blaming?
No, he need to be like more professional.
Well, we can tell a little story about a certain staff.
He's upset he got married.
Oh no, I don't like this.
Rupachi has been upset since she got married. She's lost interest, no. But it is true. His fitness has been questioned, and I guess it's understandable. And like I said, so back to Ben McDermott for a moment. Ben McDermott played locally, got 71 today. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I was at Ellen Borderfield. So Tassie batted really well and chased 200 odd set up by South Australia. He really batted well.
So to me, you might find that Ben McDermott
also made 71s today.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So Ben McDermott may end up. I'm thinking post this T20 World Cup that you might see Ben McDermott and someone like potentially, well, depending on how Warner goes, he might have Green with him as an opener or something like that. Very likely, because Warner's
playing international T20 cricket after the World Cup, and same with Smith. I don't see them, and they should get rid of Wade as well. So Finch gone, Warner gone, Smith gone, Wade gone. There's 4 spots open up straight away. You got to get Inglis with a glove behind, and then get another late middle order, and then Green and maybe McDermott up in the batting. That could be power hitting.
but they've got to bite the bullet and make sure this happens. They can't linger. Finches had the decency to say he's not going to have the ODI. There's no doubt that after the series, he'll announce his retirement from the T20. I'm almost certain of that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And if Australia wins, it's the perfect finish for him.
Yeah.
But do you, Baram, Mosen, Rapakshi, do you... I know it's early days and we can't write off anyone at this stage, but I have a gut feeling it won't be Australia and it won't be India.
It won't be Australia and India.
I
personally think India or Australia. I don't know.
Yeah, of course you would. But I think I got a gut feeling that the way that the teams are looking,
And
something's not right.
surprises, yeah.
Well, Norman, T20 is such that it's like, if you ask me, luck, it's more lady luck who is favoring which team. That, like luck factor has a big to play in T20. Much less in ODI and I would say almost nothing in Tests. But
Yes, yeah.
in T20, any day, any team can win.
Because I think T20 is very thing, and maybe.
If you ask me, maybe we should have a T20 World Cup once every year, given this situation.
To all of your surprise, I'm quite liking England at the moment. England looks really rounded team. They're power hitting down to number 8, number 9, and they've got Ben Stokes to come in as an all-rounder. Their pace attack looks good. Mark Wood is clocking 155 in Pakistan's dead pitches. Imagine him bowling in Perth against us. He'd be so to be honest, I'm liking England quite a lot at the moment with their balanced team. They got 2 spinners who can bowl really well on the bouncy pitches with Moeen Ali and Rash. Look, they'd be a really good team to beat, actually.
So the only negative is Bairstow.
Yeah, but Alex Hales is doing the job. He's good enough. He's played in Australia for the last 3 years in Big Bash, and he's been top scorer in last 2 of the 3 years he's been player. So he knows Aussie conditions really well. So I don't think if they continue with Hales, I don't think they'll be at a loss.
This is quite exciting. I mean, you can't write off anyone at this stage, but I do feel strongly for England. So they're now showing the Indians. So they got Thiruvananthapuram, they got
Guwahati. They got on 2nd of October on Guwahati. I think that's the national day for India, because there is the Mahatma Gandhi, the president of India's birthday.
But they're playing 3 ODI.
ODI.
Mahatma Gandhi was never president of India. He was just father of India.
Rashtrapati. He was the Rashtrapati.
No.
Rashtrapati. President.
But come on. Why are you playing 3 ODIs before you hit for a T20 tournament?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense. Right before the World Cup, they're playing 3 one-days. That's what I was saying. India T20 players are flying out on the 5th of October. So the one-day team is led by whatever's left over behind. So I don't see any basic understanding or reason why they're playing. I think South Africa wants to qualify. That's why they have to play the one-days, because remember, they have given up their 3 one-days against Australia in January, February. Yeah. They have to play the one-days, and they want to win and qualify rather than playing a qualifier tournament. So remember, one-day World Cup is next time this year. Next time, the World Cup. So in India as well. So
that's going to be where's the ODI tournament?
In India.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh my God, India's action packed next year. Obviously, as well, they got the strength of their IPL coming through.
Next year, there's the Asia Cup is also in Pakistan, right?
Asia Cup, Pakistan, yes. So
next year.
Next year, yeah.
I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling next year.
Mate, I
think will be ODI.
You got to go Asia Cup, Pakistan, and then World Cup, India. So if I'm with Afghanistan, mate, imagine that.
That'd be madness.
Oh,
hang on, that would potentially mean that Pakistan will play India in the Asia Cup in Pakistan.
In Pakistan, imagine that.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
And then Pakistan, India, reverse.
Wow!
It's a similar sort of setup. Like it's a month gap between Asia Cup and World Cup.
So where are you going to be on the 23rd of October? Do you know? That's just when India play Pakistan in Melbourne. not
We'll
going
be
to Melbourne.
coming back from Perth to Melbourne, so we come to Melbourne that morning.
Oh, so you'll be at the game.
We'll be in Melbourne that day.
Oh, we're going to do that. We're going to have a great broadcast from there. We're going to have a panel. We're going to have potentially, well, Boria definitely, maybe Candace Warner. We're going to have with us. We're going to have a whole host of other Indian greats with us that Boria is assembling. So we'll drag you in there somewhere, Moses. We'll get you involved with that.
No problems.
Can you imagine that? We should get a great spot, maybe on the hour or something before the game, and sit to find some nice little. We'll have a nice setting. Exciting. We're going to be. You're going to be flattered. Oh my God! You've got a team to worry. Bram, you have to fly over from Indonesia.
Bram over here. He's having too much fun at home.
Bram, what are you doing? Can you come?
October. Let's see. The problem is tickets. Do we have tickets?
Mate, honestly,
for the game.
Bram,
yes.
I'll give you tickets.
She'll get tickets. Trust me. There's never a thing.
Only game. My responsibility is just game. That's normal.
Yeah, we've got Raghav on our side. He's, you know what? There's no such thing as a sold out stadium. Even though India, Pakistan is always sold out, there's always somebody who doesn't turn up.
There's always tickets.
I'm looking at South Africa singing the national anthem now on before the game. Do you think South Africa have got any hope in this World Cup?
For me, I think the three teams in this group, where India, Pakistan, and South Africa are out of those three, two are qualifying. So whether it is India or Pakistan, or whether it is India and South Africa, I think that's what Bram was saying earlier. On the day, who plays well, it's a bit of a lady luck on your favor. But I think for me, in that pool, these three teams have got it easy compared to the other pool. You look at New Zealand, England, Australia, Sri Lanka. It's a tight pack pool, the other one. And Afghanistan will probably surprise one or two teams. You never know. Yeah. So that pool is a tough one. But this pool, I think out of these three, two are qualifying.
You haven't been telling us too much about your Afghanistan chances here now.
Mohsen, right now you're working for the Afghanistan team itself. I mean, right now you're doing your work, giving with them.
Yeah.
So right now, where is the team? They are in Dubai or they're in Afghanistan?
Yeah, they're flying up in next 3 hours. They're flying up to Sydney, and then they come to Brisbane by midday Friday.
Okay, so you will join them over there.
I'll join them tomorrow. Friday.
So midday Friday.
Okay.
Mm.
So we're talking this Friday.
This Friday, yeah, day after tomorrow.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try and get to Brisbane as soon as I can, because everything at the epicenter now is Brisbane.
It's Brisbane, yes. In next 2 weeks' time, Brisbane would be buzzing.
Nothing's happening in Sydney except for Ireland versus SCG11.
That's the problem. Sydney with prestigious SCG and all that stuff, they're not having too many games. There's only Pakistan playing South Africa and Australia playing New Zealand. There's only 2 games.
Why?
I know. Talk to your SCG guys. Sort it out.
I don't know it. But crazy. Well, I'm going to a function tomorrow night. They launch their CG11. We'll come to that as well. Well, we're meeting up with a lot of people there. I think Pat Cummins is coming. Is he here? He must be here. Yeah. No, he's back now. They're all back. They're all back up.
In Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne, and Perth. That's the most traffic area. Sydney has only got 2 games. Just game.
That's crazy.
Mm.
Is that more of an ICC decision though? Maybe they've gone with where
SCG straight after footy. They're not giving up the ground so easily. It's just taken by footy. You know that there's so much influence in SCG trust with footy.
Well, Venues New South Wales is now called. They control all the venues, but it is you're perfectly right. They're going to keep them for the traditional Test cricket later on in the year, and that's their baby. So Rishabh Pant is keeping, despite the fact that Dinesh Karthik's in the side as well.
Yeah, that's what they've done. When the two keepers have played, that's again, my mind doesn't accept that. When the 2 keepers have played, if they're going with DK with the better gloveman, he should keep. But then punt is a liability in a field, so they have to give gloves to punt because DK he can field in the outfield. He's really good. His speed to the ball is good. He can throw really well. So that's what my question is. If you want to play DK and punt, you're forced to give gloves to punt because DK is a better keeper. We all know his glove work is better, but then punt cannot be utilized in the outfield. He's useless.
So it comes back to the question why they're both on the side.
Yeah, well, they need a middle order. They need a finisher, as what Brown was saying. They need a finisher.
Yeah, I'm just watching Bavuma. It looks like his bottom's gotten a bit big there. He's gotten bigger than normal. His bottom looks a bit too.
I think that's all South African have.
Yeah.
Great.
Norman, Mohsin, Rupakshi, I'll take a leave. So
All right, Brian.
catch
Thanks,
you guys
Brian.
maybe for the next show.
All
right.
And
Make sure you
bye bye
get
to all the people watching online.
Good night.
Make sure you
I'll-
get to Australia.
And I'll go to the messages. I've got your message, Brian.
My sister stays in Sydney, Mohsin, so I have all the more reason to come.
There's no reason why you shouldn't come.
Yeah, you should
Okay.
come.
What are you doing, Brian? Come.
Let me see with my work. I it's new work joined, so those
Are
things
you
also
from
has to.
India,
Bring her
Behram?
as well.
You're from India, right?
Yeah.
Behram.
I'm from India, but I stay in Indonesia.
Okay, nice.
Living
Always.
out real spot in there. All right, ciao, Brian.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao, bye bye.
Thanks, Brown. Talk to you, mate.
The reality is, though, Mohsin, I'm looking at Bavuma opening up. Now, Quentin de Kock's class. We know
Yeah,
he's got experience.
And that's what I was saying before. It's shame that the guy has given up his Test cricket because he's had enough of that selection and stuff around because he was the vice captain and captained South Africa as well. So he's had enough of those issues. He's given up that Test cricket just because of that, and now he's just carrying on in the white ball cricket. How long? Probably another year, and then he'll just continue to play league cricket, which is a shame
Yep.
that we need cricketers from South Africa who are of quality.
He'll be on a $10 million plus.
Well, he's already in a Mumbai team. He's earning decent money, but he'll go around in South Africa League. He'll go CPL. He'll go England. He was
UAE.
in UAE. So there's plenty of leagues around. So I don't blame him.
So Jahar at the million paces on now.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting a bit of movement actually too.
Yeah. So
You know Paddy Upton, don't you?
yeah. He was with us.
He's a good. I know him really well. He seems to. He's obviously a mental guru. That's his thing, isn't it?
That's his title as well. So he's mental.
Maybe they're using too much though. I think they might be overcooked with their thought process sometimes. Anyway,
Interesting.
all right.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Norman's probably I'll take a leave as well.
Thanks. Thank you.
No.
I want to get a bit more of your itinerary because we'll start catching. I'll get you to be I'll get you on the various Indian platforms as well, not just mine, but obviously all the Boria, the sports tack. We'll get you in front of all those people. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good, mate. Touch base soon.
All right, Mohsin.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Ciao.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Yeah.
So there we are. Rapakshi, we've just heard from Mohsin, what he's saying. Very interesting match now we've got between India and South Africa.
Yeah.
But it will be
I
interesting.
think India is taking care of the bowling very carefully. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. You made some good points. You talked about, the way that India are playing, want them to play well, but they've changed in the team too much. Maybe there's a reason for it. We'll wait and see. The Bumrah's injury, that's very serious.
Very serious.
It doesn't look good. I think this close to a World Cup to me.
Yeah, like he's not taking the World Cup as a serious thing.
No, I totally agree. Well observed there, Rapakshi, because I think that
in hotel now he just have played 2 matches.
it's not. You got to play matches to be match fit. You can't just be.
Make excuse.
You got to play match fit.
Disappear.
Exactly. And we're watching now there. Yeah. So Rapakshi, what have we got ahead of us? We've got the World Cup starting on October 16th. We've got matches happening in Brisbane earlier on, in Melbourne, in Perth, in New Zealand, still in India. A lot of preparation here. Quite exciting, isn't it?
Very exciting.
We've got literally only 2 weeks
Like,
18 days before the first match, 2.5 weeks. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to be on this program. We're Pakshi, myself. We've got Baram there. We've got Mosen, David Graham, and a whole host of other people will be there as well. Waiting for Buria to come over with Rev Sports. We'll be going on for the rest of the event. I think there's a wicket already just gone.
oh no, that's very bad. Starting like I think whole confidence of the team gonna get
Very much down,
disappeared.
yeah.
And they're gonna be under pressure.
So Shahar's taking the wicket of Bavuma, who was in some doubt as to why he's actually playing at this level. They believe it's the quota system of the black natives versus the
Totally
whites in this
agree.
country. Look at this ball. It's quite a nice looping delivery. And it's
And just hit it is
awful shot. Awful shot. And Bavuma's gone very early on for a duck. Bowled Shahar off 4 balls. Did not last long at all as captain. Now, Riley Rizzo, the guy coming in now who I know, he's quite a character. He's been playing in
and
England.
hopefully he'll change the game, but
Well, he's capable of it. He's a very attacking
I
player.
really want the team who's will work hard in the game. But at the end, I just hope for India to win the game, because otherwise all Indian audience gonna go against me. I seriously don't want that.
All right, everyone. We'll say goodbye now. Stay tuned. We'll watch this match. And now, so they've lost the wicket. I think they're in a bit of trouble early on. India, I'm expecting to win. Who are you expecting to win? India. Of course.
India.
Right.
Let's check in morning.
So say goodbye, Pachi.
Bye. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the match with snacks.
All the best. Ciao.
Bye.
It was short.